Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about how to avoid burnout or prevent burnout in your business. The meaning of burnout is literally person that is running the business owner or whoever is holding the role is going through a lot by carrying a lot on the shoulders. So literally they are carrying most of the business, if not all the business, on their shoulder. That means you are doing everything for the business, and most time than not, you also become the bottleneck in the growth of the business. So how do we prevent someone from going through burnout, from carrying the entire business on their back while still trying to work? Now, also in the process, I will share with you some of our clients say they do to prevent burnout. I have some few questions and kind of skepticism about those practices. Nonetheless, it works for them. Personally, something I've not gone through yet, even though I'm doing a lot of things, but I've not gone through yet. My goal is for me to even feel the impact of burnout. One of the things, whether you believe it or not, is sometimes if your goal is too small, that's when you tend to feel burnout because you haven't got much to achieve yet. But if you've got a bigger goal to achieve, just sometimes you may not even feel the impact of burnout because it's a little drop in the ocean. So you don't actually feel much about that. And personally, I don't feel it. However, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It exists. And I know many business owners and people in important roles in the businesses, CEOs, etc., tend to face burnouts. So the number one thing I will say to you as a business owner who may go through burnout or who is going through burnout is to structure your business so that it's not fully reliant on you. You can do this by one, systemizing your business. That is putting systems and processes in place so that your business can function even if you're not in the business. Typical example, I think that was about 5 or 6 years ago in one of my businesses. Though I wasn't feeling the burnout, but there came a time in the morning that I had a big migraine. I was ill, so I called the ambulance in personally because I knew what state I was and I wasn't feeling too great. So I called the ambulance and I was picked up to the hospital. But luckily, everything we were doing is systemized. So even though the team have never performed the role I was performing, because everything was written down, what we did was my wife just called the next person in charge to follow the system and just do what they meant to do, and that I trusted them to be able to deliver that, and that was all. In the hospital for 3 days, I was in the hospital. At the end of the day, they found nothing, which was probably due to tiredness. I was just sleeping throughout whilst I was in the hospital. My goals are bigger, so I tend to go for it in a big way, which is not necessarily the best, but because of that, I tend probably not to feel the other side of the burnout, or it's existent but not just obvious because I've got bigger things, and that is just a small drop. And probably because of that, I'm not seeing it or feeling it. But that was what happened. So because I had everything written down, someone was able to take those systems and just go through and was able to run the business for the 3 days I was away until I got back to continue. That is how, if you systemize your business, it will help to save you a lot. From then, the next thing you can look at is to start delegating. So instead of everything coming through you, you have to be able to delegate. And by that, I mean you have the systems first in place. You know how things are done in order to achieve the next level or the next step in the business. Once you understand that, you write it down, and then you have someone in your team. If you haven't got a team, employ someone by looking at first your finances. Have you got enough finances to be able to afford someone? Because people see employees as an expense, but employees are investment. For every employee that comes into your business, if you're paying them, let's say £6,000 or $80,000, at the end of the year, they are going to make you about 160, 200, 500,000 pounds or dollars. They are an investment to your business. So if you can systemize the business, put in the right processes in place, and then have the person take over the role, it frees you to do other things, more important things, and your role is still fulfilled and revenue is still coming in. So that is delegation. So you need to delegate in order to elevate so that you can focus on the key things in your business. And if you don't have the people to delegate to, like I said, hire one. Hire the right people to take over. If you hire them and they cannot fulfill the role, let them go quickly and find the right person. Whatever they cost you, they'll make you more than what they cost. Now, the second main thing you can look at to minimize burnout in your business is to focus on the key tasks in your business. The main areas in your business, the 20% of your business that is generating 80% of the results. Those are the areas you need to focus on. Spending quality time or investing time with your high-paying clients, building that relationship and supporting that relationship. That is what will take your business to the next level. Now that means you need to drop all the things that are irrelevant to drive the business forward. Emails are good, but they will not move the business to the next needle. So you need to have someone checking emails. There are various areas in the business that you need to cut off. You need to focus on the high-end side of the business, the part or the areas of the business that helps you to generate more revenue. Delegate them to someone. Get someone to complete those roles. Another way to prevent burnout is to have and keep your goals. You know the reason why you started your business. You didn't start a business just to be in competition. Sometimes we are comparing and pacing ourselves according to the other businesses around us. And if that is what you're doing, that is what is causing external unnecessary pressure within you, and that is causing the burnout. You need to know what your goal is. And if your goal is to just build a lifestyle business, you don't have to go comparing yourself with someone who is intending to build a multi-million or multi-billion business, because you have two different goals. If your goal is to build that multi-million pound business or multi-million dollar business or a billion pound or dollar business, then you have to build yourself, change your identity to match such a person. And if you want to be such a person, then you have to build a higher threshold and change your identity to match such a person, because you'll not be in your current state and be able to build that sort of business. So you have to know your goal, understand how to get to your goal, and then don't compare yourself to others. That will create unnecessary pressure on you and on your business. That is the fastest way to get burnout and possibly burning your business out completely. Now, another way to prevent burnout to you and your business is to find help. There are a lot of groups and mentors out there that will be able to help you to overcome this burnout. Mostly how they will help you is to go through the first 2 or 3 points that I mentioned, which is to structure your business, not to rely on you. That will be systemizing your business, redelegating roles, also helping you to focus on the high impact side of your business. This takes away a lot of the pressure on you and on the business and allow you free thinking space not to feel the pressure in the business and to avoid burnout. So if you need help, you need to reach out to someone that can help you. Or there are a lot of business groups or startup groups. Join one of those groups and they will help you to overcome potential burnout issues in your business. The final point I will mention here before discussing what some of our clients are doing is to revisit your business model. Most business models are not built to help the owners to focus on the key areas of the business. Business owners sometimes go into the business just so that they can make extra cash to keep their family. But then you go in and realize that this is a different ball game. It's not just a lifestyle. You can try your lifestyle, but it might not fetch you enough money as you wish, and it will be draining all your time. So which means the model you came in with probably has to change. You have to redesign the business, and you probably may not have planned to employ or add new staff to your business, but you may have to revisit that area, add staff to your business, delegate a lot of the work, train them on how to do them, and then you can then have the time. The more employees you have in your business, the more likely you may have time or cost to delegate all the bits that you don't have to do to them, and you focus on the key areas. The key areas of every business involve some very important networking events that tend to be fun if you like mingling. If you don't like mingling, it will still be fun because you still get to meet people one-on-one, open up, have a conversation, discuss businesses, possible investment, and possibly also get referrals from them. So it can be fun. Just do it passionately, whether you love it or not. I don't believe in the idea that you have to follow your passion. What I believe in is rather do whatever you have to do, but do it passionately. And if you do it passionately, eventually it becomes a passion. And that's my belief. You don't have to believe in what I believe in, but I strongly believe that whatever you're doing, whether you love it or not, do it passionately, will become your passion and you will enjoy doing it. Now, let's look at some of the things some of our clients have been saying about how they help themselves to overcome burnout. Some say they're able to set up recovery time or recovery period where they're able to e-purge or get rid of all the unnecessary tension that has built up in their body, and then they get back to it. But my thought of that is, if you've got a mess in the office, you can take 10 days or 2 months off, get better, you come back to the same mess. Instead of going through that cycle, why not set up a business that is less dependent on you? Why not delegate a lot of the things so that people can do the areas that they can do, and you can do the bit that you enjoy doing, and the bit that is highly rewarded, so that everything is not coming through you into the business. Then you can actually have proper time, and whether you have time off or not, you will not feel the need to e-purge or to get rid of unnecessary tension within you. I don't know what you think, but that is just my point. Other clients also say they prevent burnout by building a non-negotiable breaks, which is again good. You build a break. If the office is still a mess, if the business is still a mess, you still come back to the mess. And more to the point, if you own the business and you are one of the 2 employees in the business, which means a lot of things are going through you, how are you going to take the time off or get a break? Because if you do that, your clients will be waiting. And if your clients are waiting, they'll still be playing up in your mind, which means you have to get back to work. And so how are you going to ever recover or avoid the burnout? Again, it may work for them, but personally, I don't think it will work for me if I was to be in such a situation, which luckily I'm not. Again, it works for them. So you make do with what helps you. Others also say they get proper sleep and proper break, hydration, food, etc. Which again is good. Yeah, it helps the body to recover. It helps the body to be in a good state. But again, you're going back to mess, and mess is mess. So if it's messier, you just keep coming down. You cannot avoid it. So just build a business that is less dependent on you. And that is the surest way you can avoid this unnecessary, uncalled for burnout. Others also say they create a clear boundary between work and life. Now, which is ideally good as well, but that always takes me back to when I first got into business. I was self-employed, working for myself, no employees. Where am I going to draw that boundary? I have customers calling because I have work phone and I have my personal phone on there as well. I have customers calling because I need to grow the business, and you cannot grow the business without answering the call of the customers. You're not going to be paying for Google ads or Facebook ads, and then when people call you, you then turn your back to the phone. That is not going to happen. So how are you going to create that personal lifetime and work lifetime? I never had it until I started to bring in employees. That is when I had to now structure the business so that I can focus on the high income side of the business, and my staff will focus on other areas of the business. So we started delegating various sectors of the business instead of just being self-employed and turning my back to customers when they call. That wouldn't happen. However, they are able to go through that. And again, that's why I will always go to your goal in setting up your business. Is it a lifestyle, or do you actually want to build something substantial, something large that will continue to exist even when you are no more? That is entirely up to whatever goal you have set that will determine how you build your business and what model to use. So that is all for this video for today. If you have any question, please leave below this video. We'll be going through all the questions, all your suggestions, all your contributions. If you have any other way that you also use to avoid or prevent burnout whilst operating your business, please share that with us below as well. If I've not mentioned it, there will be several ways. I just shared what I know, and if you have any that I haven't shared, please feel free to share it in the comment section. We'll look at that and possibly update this, and we will give you credit for what you've shared with us. Thank you very much, and please like this video and subscribe. If you know anyone that it may help, please share it with them. Now, not many people probably will be facing burnout in the business. If you do know anyone that wants to avoid burnout in their business, you can share this with them. And if they need help to systemize their business, to put in the right processes in their business, be able to get time to themselves and to their family, and to focus on building the business as well, there is a link below. You can book a call with us, and then we will see if that is something we can help them with. But of course, we have to look at their revenue potentials or the revenue of the business, see whether they can bring in another person. And if they already have employees, what's the best strategy to delegate a lot of the work? And if they already have employees, we'll find out what's the best strategy to delegate a lot of the work to the staff, and what area of the work they need to focus on. Which bit of the work do they enjoy? Because if you don't enjoy bookkeeping, there's no point you do bookkeeping. There's someone out there that enjoys bookkeeping. We'll bring that person into the business. You can have time doing the things you enjoy. They do the things they enjoy. Everyone enjoys, and the business still grows. Everyone will be able to achieve their key performance indicators, all the trigger points we put in place. Everyone can achieve that, and then the business still grow. And you don't have to worry about the things that will give you sleepless nights. Thank you very much for listening again. I appreciate your time, and have a lovely day.